Boom. Shout out to Cam. We're trying something a little different today. We're recording directly onto a laptop. I hope it turns out. If it doesn't,
We'll never do it again.
it's your fault. It's somehow your fault.
Thank you.
So we've been off for a couple weeks. 2 weeks ago, I think we were dying. Is that right?
Yes.
Bubonic plague swept through our house. Where I vomited all night. One night you vomited all night. Another night your mother vomited. Oh my god, it was a nightmare. Everybody in this house got sick, except for Athena. Everybody was just puking everywhere. It was like that episode of Family Guy where everybody was just puking and puking and puking. And then last week, what happened? Oh, we were super busy. We were getting ready for Imagine Wrestling, which for anybody that watches this and came out to that, holy cow! Thank you. I mean, the crowd was amazing. The turnout was amazing. The show was amazing. Man, I couldn't have been happier with the production of the night. It was really great. So if you haven't checked that out, please come on out and check it out. But today, we're getting back to what we do here at the Orchid and Kato show. We're going to talk a little bit about WWE. We're going to backtrack a little bit, talk about some of the stuff that we've not talked about the last few weeks, which includes, first and foremost, the return of Roman Reigns. How did you feel about it?
That was great. People reacted very positively, which is all you can ask for.
Yeah. Were you surprised at all? And how if you weren't surprised that they reacted so positively, how long do they turn on Roman Reigns again?
I wasn't surprised that they were positive towards him for week 1. However, week 2, I was shocked that they didn't turn.
hmm
I mean,
Are they going to turn again? Do you turn on a guy that came back from leukemia?
I don't know if you noticed or not, but his new shirt is a ribbon, is an orange ribbon. Has that symbol and then kind of goes into the ribbon. So I think as long as that shirt's around, I think that's a constant kind of reminder of, hey, this guy just beat cancer.
Yeah, don't
I
boo
think
him.
I think the second that shirt goes, people are gonna be like, what cancer?
Right.
And
Short memory.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You know how I felt about Roman Reigns before. I mean, I'm not been 100% sure why people have hated Roman Reigns so badly. I think that part of it's not necessarily Roman Reigns; it's what he represents of WWE forcing what they want down people's throats. But the funny thing is, I mean, I don't know if you remember a few years ago at the Royal Rumble. I mean, people were crazy for Roman Reigns. People wanted Roman Reigns until they got Roman Reigns, and then they were like, "Oh, this is what I ordered, and this is what I wanted, but now I don't want it anymore. Get it out of here."
I think they've done a very nice job the last couple of weeks of not having Roman just pushed into the main event at WrestleMania. So I think that that's also helping to keep him in more of a positive light.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, the ideal situation would be is just to keep him out of the main event so long that after a while, people are like, kind of want him in the main event. I mean, he's been beating everybody, and it's been a fun ride. So let's keep it going here. So, I like Roman Reigns. I think this is a positive thing. I think it's weird that Dean Ambrose is leaving. The way that's all sort of played out, but it is what it is. Another big development in the last few weeks has been the emergence of bad guy Ronda Rousey. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I just don't like Ronda Rousey.
Okay, you've never liked her.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem to fit. I feel like I don't know why. It just doesn't feel right. So I don't know. I don't really care for it.
Yeah. But do you like her as a bad guy? Is it easier for you to boo her than it is to cheer her, or you just are uninterested in Ronda Rousey?
I think I'm uninterested in Ronda Rousey.
That's the worst. I mean, if you're uninterested in somebody on television, that's the worst. I mean, she's so sort of violent in the ring. I enjoy watching her just from a violence standpoint. She cut a promo online. Did you see it where she's sort of, cursing a lot and calling WWE fake and its fans fake, and I don't care for that.
Yeah.
I think that she knew what she signed up for when she signed up for it.
Do you actually think that was her saying that, or do you think that somebody in WWE?
I don't know, man. It feels like WWE, if you'd have heard how many F bombs were dropped in this video, like WWE would not instruct somebody to say the F word that many times.
Okay.
So I think it's probably her trying to once,
Right.
but I think it's a bad look to bury the product that I mean she knew what she signed up for and she gladly accepting that paycheck from that company.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know that I understand it. It's engaging and it's interesting. So from that standpoint, I guess it's fine. I I like Ronda as a babyface. I think she was a little forced as a babyface, but she feels even more forced as a heel to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Um, I hate to keep harping on this because I feel like every time we have a show, we talk about this. But I have so in relation to Ronda Rousey and even Flair, like I have so despised the way they have booked Becky Lynch throughout this. Um, Even if she wins, it's not going to get the response at WrestleMania that it should. I don't believe that it will because it's not Ronda Rousey's fault so much, or Flair's fault so much, or even Becky's fault.
Yeah.
It's really the writing team's fault of like I've never seen someone who she presents herself as the man, as a tough guy, as a somebody you don't want to mess with, but then continuously just gets beat up.
Right.
Like Ronda Rousey run her over a week ago on Raw.
Over.
Yeah.
She lost the title. Oscar ran her over, and then she went right into the Ronda Rousey stuff, and that stuff she got ran over with that stuff, and now.
Yeah, I mean when they started pushing, and I know I've said this time and time again, Stone Cold is it the connection that I make. Like he didn't get. I mean, he came out as a tough guy that was beating people up.
Right.
He wasn't winning every match, but he wasn't getting embarrassed either. And she's getting embarrassed a lot.
I think that the match at Fastlane really hurt her. I mean, she was gonna lose.
Right. Yeah, I don't. I mean, you can't have promos where she's a tough guy and then also try to get her over as a sympathetic, like underdog babyface. The character and the writing do not fit. I used this analogy at training before because guys will, put weird things in their matches where, like, you're watching Jurassic Park and then all of a sudden, with no explanation, Pee Wee Herman rides his bike through, and then Pee Wee Herman's never talked about the rest of Jurassic Park and never addressed. And that's sort of what's happening with Becky Lynch, like the way like Pee Wee Herman's riding through the middle of her segment, and it's not being explained, and she just I don't know. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that they don't have something. They don't have more creative minds at the biggest wrestling company in the world. So. But on the opposite end of that, the way they've done this Kofi Kingston thing in a very short amount of time, to me, has been nothing short of brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, we'll have to see how it plays out the rest of the way, but I love what they've done to this point.
Do you still think that it was planned all along that Mustafa Ali was going to be taken out? Or do you think that they just quickly pulled this together?
I don't know. I could be probably convinced either way. But it feels like the right move. And the reason why I love this Kofi thing, for much in the same way that people fell in love with The Rock because he was super cool and people wanted to relate to being super cool, or The Rock or Stone Cold where like he was beating up his boss and giving his boss the business. People can relate to that, and I think Kofi Kingston's story is something that a lot of folks can relate to of working so hard and never getting an opportunity at your job or at life and like never getting your due respect, and people can relate to that. And I thought his promo last night, Tuesday night, was brilliant. Like sitting, I don't miss work, and I go wherever you tell me, and I miss trick or treating with my kids, and like it's all stuff that people that have a good work ethic, you can relate to what Kofi Kingston's going through, and that's why I think like it's brilliant. Now I don't know if he wins the title or when how that character goes on. I don't think he has a long term title because once you reach that brass ring, you grab that top. I don't know where you go with that character
Right.
and that, underappreciated thing. But I guess there's still things they could do. They could not put him in the main event as the champion. He's still unappreciated. Like I did what I was supposed to do. I won the title. There's still things they can do, but I love it. How do you feel about the whole?
I love it too. I love a good underdog story. I just think it's great.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's great too. I think that time will tell if they do the right thing. And do you think he should win the title at WrestleMania, or do you think he should not? And the story continues? What do you think is a better story?
I mean, Mania is like the show of the year, so I would like him to win it at Mania because I mean, it's the most important show of the year. I think that they could drag it out and make it go longer, but I think people might become uninterested if you drag it out. I think people are expecting them to win it at Mania.
Yeah, I think if you're patient, though, problem is people aren't patient anymore. I mean, they wanted it an elimination chamber, like so. I don't know what the right answer is. I mean, the promoter and writer and me personally says, everybody's sort of expecting him to win it at Mania. Don't give it to him. I mean, that's the best, but you have to give it to him at some point.
Right.
So maybe SummerSlam, clear in August, would be
forever away.
That is a long way away. I understand, but if you are smart, you can make that really spin into something. Now, history has told us that the WWE writers aren't creative enough or don't also have the patience enough to see things through. While I like the Daniel Bryan thing right now, we talked about months ago. They did not have the vision or the understandings of how to make the Miz versus Daniel Bryan go to WrestleMania. Guess what?
It didn't happen.
They didn't have the foresight or the vision. They didn't have enough in their pen to make that work. So, I think with that in mind, I think it's the right decision to put the title on him at Mania. Maybe a very short reign, and then you get a climb going again, all over again. But I think it's the right thing to do. I mean, even if you had him lose it 2 nights later on SmackDown and started to climb all over again, I think people would get with it.
Yeah.
Especially if he lost the title in such a way that it was the screws were really put to him.
Right.
So, last thing we're going to talk about as a whole, the Fastlane pay-per-view. I read a lot of very positive reviews about it online and saw a lot of people really like the show. How did you feel about it?
It was like a typical show to me.
It felt flat to me as well. Like, I don't know, maybe I missed something. I thought the show closed fairly strong with the Shield, and that match was sort of fun.
Yeah.
But overall, like, I thought a lot of the matches that we got to, the stories to them were very rushed. I think a good example was Bailey and Sasha against Nia Jax and Tamina. Fans did not care.
Yeah.
They just simply did not care. They were flat, and it's a shame because they're the women's tag team champions. It should have meant a little more than what it did.
Did you like the Beth Phoenix stuff that they did at the end of the match?
I did, and you see fans got on their feet for that. But then again, when Tuesday rolled around or Monday night rolled around again, people didn't care when Beth Phoenix got in the ring. So I don't know where that all sort of plays out. I liked it, but I'm also a very long-term fan who remembers Beth Phoenix. Do people care enough about Beth Phoenix from 10 years ago to be invested in this?
I don't really remember her.
Good example. I mean, that's fine, right? I mean, that's, So, I don't know. Yeah. And then beyond that, I don't remember a whole lot about the pay-per-view, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, Bobby Lashley won the title back again in sort of what I thought was sort of a flat match. It didn't do much for me.
That wasn't a Fastlane.
Oh, that was at
Monday Night Raw.
Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that match was sort of flat.
Yeah. What about there was Charlotte and Becky's match?
Flat as can be. The finish.
And tag match. You called the Shane McMahon turning on the Miz.
Yeah, I didn't call. I wouldn't say so much as I called it. I said it would be a very neat idea.
Yeah.
Because it, usually the Miz goes heel and So I was alright with that. The match itself, though, I thought was flat. Like it didn't do, which is odd because I like the Usos. They usually put on very good stuff. And I like the Miz. I think he's very entertaining. And Shane is good for what Shane is. He'll do his big giant spot, and it's sort of fun. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I thought Fast Lane was a little bit flat. Nothing set the world on fire to me on Raw or SmackDown this week. Um, I think we right now we're sort of limping into WrestleMania, if you ask me. Now we have a few weeks to go yet. Uh, Clearly, they'll
Did
get some more.
you like the Batista
I like the video that I sent you where Batista and
stuff? I
Triple H
know.
were mixed into the Spice Girls song.
Yeah.
That was amazing. I like that some of my friends were got to escort Batista to the ring. That was cool. Um, I liked it. Yeah, I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, it's
again,
exciting seeing Batista back. It's kind
yeah,
of like The Rock. Not that Batista is as big of a movie star as The Rock is, but I mean, he is a movie
everybody
star.
knows who Batista is now. He's
Yeah.
not. He's not.
Yeah. So, I mean,
He's transcended above wrestling.
yeah. I mean, that's cool.
That is cool. I agree. So yeah, yeah. I don't know how thrilled I am to see a 50-year-old man fight a 49-year-old man. Um, I think that wrestling to me is a young man's game. But what are you going to do? I'm sure it'll be good. It'll be compelling. Um, they'll tell a fun little story. And any
Maybe
prediction on who
nationwide.
wins that one?
Probably Triple H.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I would think so too. I don't know. Just right now, to me, WrestleMania feels a little flat. We'll have to wait and see. I'm sure I'll be grumpy at the end of it because it'll be 7 or 8 hours long. Yeah. So, well, we covered a lot. 17 minutes worth of stuff. So I guess we'll be back next week unless one of us gets sick again or we don't have a show. Not until May 18th. So we should be back next week. Let us know what you think. This new little format here on this laptop, if it works pretty well, we might continue to do it this way. It seemed relatively easy. So that's all we have for this week. Thank you guys for tuning in. And Orchid, you and me, too sweet.